Between the late 50s and 70s, muscle cars were more like raw power that were built to dominate the streets of America. Back then, they were affordable and far from being seen as luxury investments. Fast forward to today, the ground has shifted in their favor as these iconic machines are now seen as collector's treasures. Join us as we look at the 10 most expensive muscle cars that are worth a fortune in auctions. Number 10, 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. In the 1960s, General Motors came up with a corporate policy that limited Chevrolet's engines in intermediate cars like the Chevelle and Camaro to 400 cubic inches or smaller. At that time, it was a bit of a problem for Chevrolet because it would affect the dream of the 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. But their customers demanded high-performance race cars that could challenge the likes of Ford and Dodge. Luckily, they found their way around the Central Office Production Order program, which allowed businesses and organizations to customize vehicles to meet their specific needs. Some smart dealers realized they could use this same system to order high-performance cars with non-standard configurations that Chevrolet didn't officially advertise. A prominent drag racer ordered the first 50 ZL1 Camaros, which included the ZL1 engine, heavy-duty components, and suspension upgrades. Altogether, Chevrolet was only able to manufacture 69 units of the Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 breed. So its rarity and the fact that it was mostly manufactured through a loophole made the car one of the most expensive muscle cars on the market. Currently, it holds a value of $1 million and is currently on the list of top 10 most expensive muscle cars of all time. 9. 1971 Pontiac GTO Judge Convertible. The Judge trim was Pontiac's high-performance and luxury model of the GTO. The design of the car was inspired by the "Here Comes the Judge" catchphrase from Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. Back then, the 1971 Judge Convertible's engine and performance were one of its selling points. The car is packed with a 455 V8 engine that delivers over 335 horsepower. It also had a 4-speed manual transmission and heavy-duty suspension that took its performance to a whole different level. In the 70s, owning one of the Pontiac Judge convertibles required luck and the sum of $5,000. The car was flagged as one of the more expensive muscle cars of its era. In today's market, due to its rarity and demand, it's worth more than $1.1 million at auction. Number 8. 1970 Chevrolet Chevelle SS 454 LS6. In 1970, it wasn't really a normal thing to see a production car that could launch from 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds and cover the quarter mile in around 13.7 seconds. And this was something the LS6 was doing for fun. The car was literally a straight-line beast. Inside out, the 1970 Chevelle SS 454 LS6 is a beauty to behold. The car is built with a bold and muscular design, with standout elements like a cowl induction hood and striking racing stripes that run down the hood and deck lid, and an SS badging that screams performance. In 1970, for you to get this package, you'd need an extra $263 to the price of a regular Chevelle, making the total $4,500. Although the car was considered expensive at the time, today its value has skyrocketed, as collectors are willing to spend staggering amounts of money just to secure one for their collection at today's market value of $1.2 million. Number 7. 1971 Plymouth HEMI Cuda Convertible. The 1971 Plymouth HEMI Cuda Convertible saw the sad end of the muscle car era, especially in America. The vehicle's production coincided with the decline of muscle cars due to rising insurance costs, emission regulations by the government, and the hike in oil prices. So it's known as one of the last true muscle cars. Also, the fact that Plymouth was keen on the idea of limited production makes their vehicle collector's dream. Owning this icon is like having a piece of automotive history. Many have been restored to pristine condition and can be considered the crown jewels of private collections. It wasn't fixed on its rarity, as the muscle came with some top-tier performance options, such as upgraded suspension and a 4-speed manual transmission with a pistol grip shifter. The car was indeed a beauty and a beast, making the value close to $2.2 million. Number 6. 1965 Shelby GT350R. The 1962 Cobra 260 CSX 2000 was far more than just a groundbreaking car. It marked the beginning of an era that pushed the Shelby brand to new heights. Rather than resting on their laurels, the success of the Cobra inspired Carroll Shelby and his team to double down on their vision for innovation and excellence. The 1965 Shelby GT350R was built to win races, and in the process, it made history and gave birth to a story that would be told for generations. In 1965, driving legend Ken Miles was competing in a race with the GT350R as he crested over a high-speed undulation on the track. For a brief, breathtaking moment, the Mustang soared through the air, defying gravity as it crested a high-speed undulation on the track. It was at that exact instant that a photographer captured the iconic image of the airborne car, immortalizing the scene and giving rise to its legendary nickname, the Flying Mustang. This snapshot not only captured a car in flight, but also symbolized the bold spirit and engineering prowess behind the Shelby brand. It is among the rarest and most desired creations of Shelby Mustangs, as only 36 GT350Rs were built in 1965. As one of the rarest, it is highly exclusive, and collectors are crazy about owning one. In 2020, the vehicle was sold at an auction for $3.85 million. Number 5. 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona. Most muscle cars were built to run on any track, but Dodge had one mission: to create a record-breaking vehicle for the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, popularly known as NASCAR. In 1969, Dodge's ambitious vision became a reality with the creation of the Charger Daytona. It became the first NASCAR vehicle to break the 200-mile-per-hour barrier. To reduce the effects of wind on this road legend, it was built with a 23-inch tall rear wing, which was paired with a pointed nose cone. Also, since NASCAR's homologation rules clearly stated the limit of cars to be produced for the street, only 503 units of the 1969 Daytona were built. The magic was not only limited to its architecture, but also to its performance. The car is built with a 426 cubic inch HEMI V8 engine that produces a daring 425 horsepower. When it was first produced in 1969, the Daytona cost around $4,000, which was considered expensive at the time. Today, due to its rarity and historical significance, the vehicle is crowned one of the most valuable muscle cars, fetching a price of $1.32 million. Number 4. 1967 Chevrolet Corvette L88. Chevrolet demonstrated one of the most effective marketing strategies of the 20th century by simultaneously launching two iconic vehicles, each tailored for a specific purpose. While the Chevrolet Corvette L88 was designed to dominate the racetrack with its raw power and performance, Chevrolet introduced the 1967 Camaro Z28 to capture the streets and appeal to everyday enthusiasts. This dual-market approach allowed Chevrolet to cater to both professional racers and muscle car aficionados, solidifying its reputation as a brand that could deliver excellence across multiple segments. The logic was simple. They wanted the Camaro Z28 to dominate the street, while the Corvette L88 became the track king. So, the manufacturers compromised comfort for performance and made sure they only manufactured 20 models of the 1967 Corvette L88. The L88 was powered by a 427 cubic inch V8 engine that officially produced 430 horsepower, but that figure was deliberately understated. Word on the street is that the monster gets 500 to 600 horsepower. This makes it one of the most powerful muscle cars of its time. Since Chevrolet was already an established brand way back in the 60s, the 1967 Corvette L88 was a hotcake at auctions. The car was sold for $3.2 million on September 7, 2013. Number 3. 1970 Plymouth HEMI Cuda Convertible. Leading to 1970, a lot of American automobile companies were flooding the market with their vehicles, but Plymouth decided to go against this trend by creating only 14 HEMI Cuda convertibles, and among these, just 9 were made for the U.S. market. So, even then, the car was not just some regular vehicle, because even with your money, you couldn't buy them easily. This Plymouth HEMI Cuda is powered by the legendary 426 HEMI V8 engine, which the street nicknamed the Elephant because of its massive size and power. The engine produces 425 horsepower, which is perfectly complemented by its bold and aggressive look. Due to its rarity, beauty, and high performance, this Plymouth convertible carried an auction price of $3.5 million. It currently stands as one of the most expensive cars in the history of muscle cars. Number 2. 1968 Ford Mustang GT390 Bullet. The 1968 Ford Mustang GT is an enduring legend, immortalized by its starring role in the classic Steve McQueen movie Bullet. In the film, this iconic car roared to fame during some of the most thrilling high-speed chase scenes ever captured, tearing through the streets of San Francisco and solidifying its place in automotive and cinematic history. This Hollywood fame turned the Mustang into a prized treasure for collectors willing to pay a premium for a price of movie history. In January 2020, the famed 1968 Mustang GT sold for an astounding $3.74 million at the Mecum-Kissimmee auction. While its design and performance certainly contribute to its appeal, the jaw-dropping price tag is undeniably tied to its rich history and the cultural impact it left on both Hollywood and car enthusiasts worldwide. Number 1. 1962 Shelby Cobra 260 CSX 2000. With its big bug-eyed headlights and a grille that looks like it's smiling, This American beast wears the crown as the most expensive muscle car ever sold, with a mind-blowing price tag of $13.75 million. The car was designed to perfection by Carroll Shelby himself, a man who's mentioned with other automobile legends like Ford, Wright, and Edison. Although the 60s were an era that was marked by fast cars, Carroll Shelby went extreme by making this road monster carry a 260 cubic inch V8 engine. The car went on to break many records and is now seen as a track legend. Once a racer's dream, the Shelby's Cobra is now a collector's ultimate treasure.